welcome to Pre-Match Focus with me, your host, Tim. And as you can see, there's no Lee today. He's got some kind of illness, a bit flu-y, I think. So he will resume from next week if you're going to miss him. His wife's favourite and all that. So anyway, we're going to jump straight to it. We're going to keep it quite brief today, I think. What we're going to do is focus on, he sent his predictions and his in-game tips in anyway, so you won't be missing any. I'll just be putting them out there for you today. So we'll rattle through these a bit, starting with the Friday night kickoff, which is tonight, 8 p.m, which is Southampton versus Aston Villa. To be honest, this is a game that could go completely either way. Both teams struggling for form really in the last five, I'd say. You've got obviously Southampton with 2 wins, a draw, and 2 losses in the last 5. And Aston Villa with 1 win and 4 losses in the last 5. So they're both struggling for form a little bit. So to be honest, I could only see a draw coming out of this. They're going to probably both be set up not to lose and hoping that they both gain a point from the game. So I'm going with a 1-1 draw, and Lee's going to go with a 1-1 draw today. And his in-game tips for this game are Oriol Romeu and John McGinn to be booked. So on to the early kickoff, Saturday early kickoff, 12:30. Big game, Man United versus Man City. It could be an absolutely slapping for United, like the Liverpool game, or he could prove time again, like he usually does, that this is the type of game where he pulls one out of the hat. I think so. Lee doesn't think so, but I've got a feeling that United could nick something here. Ronaldo's on the absolute fine scoring streak. Looks like saving us every opportunity. So, but Man City look absolutely devastating, but very much missing a number 9, in my opinion. I think they really could do with a number 9 to finish off this absolute plethora of chances that they're creating. And although they're scoring 4 and 5 and stuff in Europe and the Champions League, it could be about 11, let's be honest, if they had a true number 9 in there. So I'm going to go with 1-1. And Lee's sent through 3-1 to Manchester City. So I'm hoping I'm going to be right rather out of the 2. So obviously Man United haters out there will probably say otherwise and probably be siding with Lee. But his in-game tips today for this are both score, no draw. There you go. So on to the 3 o'clock kickoffs anyway, starting with Brentford and Norwich. So both mixed, really, a bit of a mixed bag. Norwich are struggling, let's be honest, really struggling. And I've said for weeks now, I don't know whether they could even buy a win this year. You know, they just really look out of the depth. No depth in the squad. Any kind, even like a couple of years ago when they were heavily relying on the likes of Timo Pukki. Timo Pukki is literally not firing like he was, and I just don't see it. I just really don't see it, to be honest. But Lee thinks there's a draw in it for Norwich. But I think with Brentford, such a physical side, Mbeumo, Tony, literally doing damage all the time to most of the back lines in the Premier League so far. And I think that'll continue, to be honest. And I think, realistically, I think this is going to be a 2-0 rout to Brentford, to be honest. That's my prediction. But Lee thinks it's going to be 1-1, so it'll be interesting. The in-game tips for this one, he's gone with Norwich double chance. So I suppose there's always a chance if they grab a draw, then you win the bet. So on to Chelsea and Burnley now. That's the next one up, 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday. Chelsea absolutely pulling away at the minute. I think if the results go their way and they grab another 3 points, then they could really start stretching ahead. And they've been playing slightly second string sides as well, to be honest, and still getting the job done. So I think this is going to go one way only. I'd like to see Burnley put up a bit of a fight, obviously give them a bit of chance down the bottom end. But I think Chelsea are going to be that little bit too strong on the day, to be honest. And I'm going to go with a 3-1 victory to Chelsea. And Lee thinks it's going to be 2-0. So his in-game tips for this game are a penalty to be awarded in the match. Seems like it could very well happen in a Burnley match. And the next game up, we've got Palace versus Wolves. This could be the game of the weekend for me if I had to pick one, because both in really good form, both with new philosophies, and both with players which obviously a year or 2 years ago were, in one case, a fair few years ago, were absolutely flying in Benteke and Raul Jimenez. And they're both finding the feet again, finding the form, looking dangerous, and being given the chances and to prove themselves again. And under Vieira and Lange, then I think they really will put up a bit of a game this Saturday. So I think 2-2. I'm going with a 2-2 draw. And Lee agrees in the result, but he's going with a 1-1 draw. So his in-game tips for this one today are Mitchell, Ward, or Semedo to be booked. So take your pick, or you can double up or whatever, but there are our tips for that game. Next up, Brighton versus Newcastle. So Brighton versus the richest team in the world. Should we be saying we've got obviously talks now of Eddie Howe coming in and taking the position? Whether that's going to be a temporary thing. There's talks of a 2.5-year contract, so maybe he can do something. I liked his style of play in the past, but you've got to just remember that Newcastle, obviously in the hunt for staying out of relegation, have just hired a man whose last job was getting relegated. But prior to the relegation with Bournemouth, you can't deny how well this fella and his team did for Bournemouth. And his style of play was fantastic. But you sometimes wonder, with a bit more money, would he have probably got that little bit more out of the team? Possibly. Everyone deserves a chance, and I wish him luck there. And I think can't do any worse, really. Let's just say it that way. He's got some great attacking players at his disposal. And I think, I just think it's, like I said before, it's a long way to January still for these teams, and they can't buy anyone until then. And to be honest, I think Newcastle are going to still struggle again today, because Brighton have looked absolutely fantastic. Yves Bissouma, obviously back last week, making a difference again, and I'm going with 2-1 to Brighton. I think Graham Potter's side have really put themselves about and really shown that they're up for the fight. I think obviously the last 5 have faltered a little bit with 4 draws and a loss in the last 5, but they're still picking up points, which is a massive kind of improvement on last year. So yeah, I'm going with 2-1 and Lee goes with 2-1. So his in-game tips for this one are over 9.5 corners. So you're getting to 10 corners, that wins you the bet. So next up, Sunday. So we've got 3 kickoffs at 2 o'clock on Sunday. First being Arsenal and Watford. So Watford travelling to the Emirates. This could go, in my opinion, could go either way. if we see the Watford we saw a few weeks ago, then I think, and obviously the Tinkerman has to really tinker something here to pull a result out of this game. But what Arsenal looking really strong. Aaron Ramsdale's been banging form, to be honest, been absolutely superb. I think though Arsenal are starting to grind the gears a bit now and start pulling on a little bit into second gear and starting to look like the team that all Arsenal fans have been saying for the last 2 years they are, which they haven't been. But I think something's happening there a little bit. I'm not going to go too far ahead of myself because it's still what Arsenal have been doing, and I don't think they're fantastic. I think obviously as a whole they're okay, but there's still a lot of holes in that team for me. And I still think they can see the fact Ramsdale's having an absolute belter is purely down to the fact that they're struggling defensively, in my opinion, and the ball comes through midfield far too easily. But I think they're going to run out winners this one. I'm going to go with 2-1 Arsenal, and Lee sent his over as 3-2 to Arsenal. I think Josh King is going to need to be firing today. And I think he's probably a major danger man, as is Ismail Assar. Both players to watch there. But I think the in-game tip for this one is going to be over 2.5 goals. The second 2 o'clock kickoff sees Tottenham come to Goodison Park to play Everton. This will be a good game. Antonio Conte obviously won his first game in charge in Europe last night. Bit unconvincing, but results are results. Tottenham running out winners 3-2 in the end. And against a very good side, to be honest, last night. There were no slouches. And I think another day or two, of briefing his team and showing them how he wants them to set up and play. And I think he will pull a result out. I've got massive faith in that. This guy's a born winner, and I think he's going to prove that. And whether we see them pit like United for a top 4 spot this year, because I think it's almost inevitable that the top 3 are the top 3, Chelsea, Liverpool and City. I think that'll be it till the death, to be honest. But if anyone else sneaks in there, then that's absolutely fantastic. But I think Tottenham are going to end up winners here. I think Rafa Benitez, he started really well at Everton, but the problem is this could be 4 losses on the bounce for him, with 3 losses, a win and a draw in the last 5. They started off so well, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin's been a big miss for him. It really has. No danger man in the box. He just can't finish it at the minute. And I think this could be exactly the same kind of fate for him again. I think I'm going to go with 2-1 to Tottenham, and Lee's gone with 1-0 to Tottenham. So we're both fairly confident on Antonio Conte setting his winning stall out in the Premier League. And your in-game tip for this one is Harry Kane to score. Did I just say that? Yeah, I did. Yeah, of course he is. He's going to score, and he's probably going to go on and score another 20 goals under Conte this year because, let's be honest, he isn't going to stand for any messing in that team. So you've got 2 options for Harry Kane. He's going to mess about and carry on looking uninterested, and he probably won't play because that's what Conte will do. Or he decides to put everything into it and see where he goes with it. And we think the latter is probably what will happen. Everyone's question is professionalism, should I say, over the last couple of months. Obviously, the failed move didn't materialise to City, but you can't labour that. You've still got to, no one's forced him to sign the contract. He's still got that contract there. He's got to honour it. And yeah, we think he'll score in this one. So the third 2 o'clock kickoff on the Sunday is Leeds v Leicester at Ellen Road. This could be a good game. this could be a really good game. Bielsa's going to be hoping that he can pull something out of the hat here, to be honest, because Leeds have struggled, and with the one win, really, in the last 5. But you know what Leeds are about. They're going to get absolutely found out in a plethora of games in the season, and they're also going to score probably about 4 in a game numerous times in a season. And look at Leeds. But in my opinion, this could be a bridge too far, and they could be struggling a little bit this weekend. They seriously missed Bamford for a while. Rafinha is the one that makes them tick massively. They struggle with the whole of the back line being out at one time this year. And I think, to be honest, this is Leicester's to pick up points here tomorrow, should I say. Blimey, I can't even speak today. I understand what's wrong with me. So, yeah, I think Leicester, Brendan Rodgers, obviously, he's been struggling himself. It's like 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss in the last 5. And I think he needs to start getting some wins. If he gets a win, and some of the other teams around him, like Everton, Brighton, Wolves, and obviously Manchester United kind of don't pick up any points this weekend, then Leicester could find themselves in around the 5th, 6th position. So we'll see how that goes. But I think the unsettled midfield duo, obviously, which was spoken of a couple of weeks ago with Yuri Tielemans and Wilfred Ndidi, I think seems to have settled down a little bit now. Maybe they've shown Harry Kane how it should be done, getting on with it and just dealing with things. So I'm going to go with 2-1 Leicester, and Leeds decided it's going to be a 2-2 draw. So the in-game tip for this one today is over 45 booking points. So expect either, if you get a red and a couple of yellows, you're well in there already. But obviously, yellow cards galore is what we're expecting from this one. And if I had to throw another one in there, I'd say Daka to score. So anyway, last game, which is the 4:30 kickoff on Sunday, is big game, to be honest, is 2nd versus 4th, and is West Ham versus Liverpool. Running out of, as hard as a Man United fan to say it, but, you know, I ain't too biased, and I think realistically, I see things as I see them, and Liverpool are absolutely flying. They look like the team that had won the Premier League a few years ago. Obviously, had a bit of a hangover last year. Didn't look the same side. Van Dijk obviously was injured for a big part of that. This year, they've added Kanate into that squad. Defensive line looks a lot more assured and a lot more solid. Even Trent Alexander-Arnold, I've turned around for the past 18 months and said the way to get at Liverpool is to attack the right back. And I still maintain that, to be honest. But I think he's definitely had a word with him, Jurgen Klopp, and said, listen, for all the good you're doing going forward, and which is looking amazing again, by the way. His assists are out of this world. Some of the passes he's putting in, the crosses he's putting in, first-time balls, you can't fault him. I think they've got good options at left back. Obviously, Robertson was injured a little bit, and you got Tsimikas and whatever coming into there, and they all look a threat, to be honest. Salah, clearly the best player and most informed player on the planet right now. I think Mane and him, whether they both go to the Africa Cup of Nations, I think will prove a bit of a test for Liverpool. But until that point, I can't really see him dropping many points. And I think they've only got one thing on the mind, and that's catching the current Chelsea team. 2 wins, 3 draws, which isn't great for Liverpool in the last 5, but they don't look like losing to me. And that's the sign of winners. And I think I'm going to go with 2-1 to Liverpool. I think they're going to be a bit too strong for a very, very good Moisey West Ham side. I think he's done absolute wonders there. And Antonio has been fantastic. Declan Rice has been absolutely superb. Fornals has been fantastic. Jared Bowen, I'd like to see him convert a few more chances, get his ratio down a little bit, because this kid looks fiery and looks really good and dangerous on the attack, on the break. They've got some good guys, and Ben Rama's playing absolutely out of his skin. He's showing why he was such a brilliant player in the Championship and starting to come to fruition in the Premier League now as well. So, yeah, I think it'll be close. I think West Ham will definitely give him a game, but I'm going to go with 2-1, and Lee thinks it's going to be a bit more open, and he thinks it's going to be 3-1. So the in-game tip for this one is both score, no draw. So, obviously, we've had Newcastle on the hunt for a new manager. Antonio Conte coming in at Tottenham. And obviously the big talk about Man United is Ronaldo saving United's blushes every game. And this might well be true a little bit. But we're starting to see us pick results up, I suppose, and that's the thing. Solskjaer needs results, and he's got to keep in tow with the current top four, which is Chelsea, Liverpool, City, and West Ham. So United can get a result against Manchester City this weekend. You can see this is wide open again, and obviously with West Ham and Liverpool being the other top four big game this weekend, you're in some good football. So anyway, thanks for your time. Thanks for your watching, and please like, share, and subscribe for more content, what we've got going on going forward. And Lee will be back. I'll make sure he's back. And thanks for tuning in. Take care. See you soon.